Elizabeth Lang. I'm the CEO and the founder of the Mathematical Games Company. Today is my pleasure to tell you about our experience of building an original app. So I would imagine amongst you there are some who might want to start their own project at some point. And for that, I would imagine before you started, ask yourself these questions. Do you have an original idea? If yes, okay, now do you have a vision how to turn that idea into a useful product? Because that's a very important thing to do. And if you have these two, then ask yourself, do I have a major passion and tenacity to make this happen? Because you will need that. It is at with a very up and down lifestyle you will have, and you would need to know that you really believe in it and you want to do it. But one of the things, but when I say you need to believe in what you're doing, I do not mean that you don't be open-minded enough. You need to be open-minded for your journey to your goal and your vision. So you might have to change slightly your directions for that. In my opinion, if you don't have these, you better don't start a project. But otherwise, good luck. I think you're on a good path. Now I'd like to tell you about how all these things began. Well, I was totally working on something else. It was in an entirely different environment. But when I was working, and I was working in the asset management company and investment consulting and the private equity section, etc. So always using calculators and so on, and really not using that much of my mental arithmetic. I was a Sudoku player, and I loved it. And I thought about a game that I could enjoy playing, that it could be a logic game like Sudoku, but it also improved my mental numeracy. Um, To be frank with you, I felt and I need some practicing. And I did not like to go to the old traditional ways of practicing my mental arithmetic. So I wanted a new way of doing it. Since I didn't find anything in the market, I went and created it. And how it all started was that I asked myself, what are the two numbers, for example, they add to 24 and multiply, say, to 11. And I said, well, that's very easy to calculate. It cannot be 1 and 25, it cannot 1 and 24, it cannot be 2 and 12, it cannot be 4 and 6. So it has to be 3 and 8, that's it. And then it's true for any other two variables. They say the two numbers that multiply to 99 and they add to 100, it can only be 1 and 99. And in fact, that can be proven by putting this in terms of a quadratic equation and solving it with this formula. And the basic concept is that any two integer numbers can be identified from their addition and multiplication values, and the answer is always unique. So what I actually did was I took this concept, put it around the grid, and create multiple equations like that around that grid. And so basically added 4 rules as constraints in there to make sure the puzzle will have a unique solution there. And basically what you can say Sizu's puzzle is a set of simultaneous nonlinear equations in a grid format with 4 constraints. And those 4 constraints are the Sizu's rules. It can be easily solved by arithmetic and elimination process and applying the 4 rules. You don't need to know algebra. In fact, anybody who has not done ever algebra still can do this as long as they use the elimination process and their numeracy, basic numeracy, times table and addition and multiplication. And I thought to bring it to the market. So we made a level from very easy level to very difficult level. So anybody with any type level of skills could play. Now I actually like to show you the interview that we had with 2 of our Imperial College students who were playing Sizus a lot. Hi, we are here today with Nicolo and Alexei from Imperial College. Guys, please tell me all about yourself first.
Alexis, come from France. I was with Nicolo in the master at Imperial College, and now I'm doing a PhD in the computer science department, and also play Sizus a lot.
My name is Nicolo. I'm from Italy, and I did a master's in machine learning here at Imperial College. And I graduated in September. I took a couple months of holiday, and then I started working at a Boston Consulting Group as an associate consultant. Yeah, now I play Sizus.
Thank you. How impressive. Now tell me, please, how do you compare Sizus with other brain games?
I think in Sizus you can have many different aspects. You have obviously the logic part of it, but you have also the numerical part of it. I think it's different from the Sudoku.
Yes, I think the main difference is that like Sudoku is just logic, right? So you're just trying to find the pattern of numbers that fits in the matrix that's given, while in Sizus, on top of having the logic of trying to find the right numbers, you also have an element of doing mathematical calculations. You literally have to do the multiplications and divisions in your head. And there is also an aspect of memorization. So in the harder levels, you need to look ahead some steps without writing them down, which means you're going to have to memorize what numbers you planned on putting in which boxes, and then work your way to see if that's a correct combination or not. So that entails memorizing quite a few numbers and quite a few combinations. So it has an aspect of memorization that Sudoku doesn't have, or 2048 doesn't have.
Now, please tell me, how does Sisus help you on your day-to-day life?
As an Imperial College student, I play a lot Sisus, especially in the morning, because it wakes me up when I got a bit sleepy, and so then I got more efficient with my brain, and so that's why I play Sisus.
The main time investment for me in Sisus was actually funny. I started playing it because I was trying to prepare for my interview for Boston Consulting Group. In interviews for consulting, you need to do a lot of mental math on the spot with the interviewer in front of you without a calculator, so it requires you to have done some practice. When I found the game at the beginning of the year, I realized this is actually quite a fun way to practice loads of math, which is probably the only way I'm going to practice it. Otherwise, it's too dull to prepare for the interview. I started playing, and I played for months before doing the interview, just to literally practice mental math to do well in the interview, and it worked. So.
Now, Nicolo, congratulations for your job. I'm glad we could be of some help. Please tell us, now that you have this nice, fantastic job, would you still keep on playing Sisus?
To be honest, yes, I think so. The game is loads of fun. I won't stop being fun just because I started working. And I do think it still has a lot of useful aspects, even for adult life, for older people. Like the society has evolved a lot with the rise of technology to be a bit lazy and stop practicing math, especially when you get out of school and you don't need to do mental math anymore. I think you start losing a bit the feeling for it. So I think even when you're older, it helps you keep active that part of the brain. So it does have a useful thing, and it's still loads of fun, right? So I definitely keep playing.
Nicolo, Alexi, thank you for your time. I'm playing Sisus. Now I'd like to introduce you to Manoj, our Chief Architect.
Thank you, Shore. I am Manoj Azmude. I am the Chief Architect for generating Sisus puzzles of various shapes and sizes. And we use a variety of AI and search optimization techniques to do so.
The key AI techniques we use in the Sisus puzzle generation software are game theory for solving puzzles and genetic algorithms for generating puzzles. In the puzzle solver, at each choice point in the Sisus puzzle, alternative options are analyzed, and then we determine how many partial or completed solutions exist in the Sisus grid. This information is then used by the puzzle generation algorithm based on GA to determine where to add additional clues in an initial Sisus grid. Essentially, generating puzzles is a search optimization with many constraints. Sisus rules as well as Sisus clues are our constraints, and the optimization step is generating puzzles with minimum number of clues as much as possible. The search algorithm uses many heuristic rules to guide the search space. We start with an initial Sisus grid and then iterate by adding additional clues until the puzzle has one unique solution. In each iteration, we first choose a location for a new clue by evaluating a distance function from potential new clue locations to existing clues. We choose a location for that new clue which is furthest away from existing clues. The puzzle solver simplifies all the constraints against each other, and then it figures out whether a plus or times clue leads to a smaller number of partial or complete solutions. These steps are then repeated until a puzzle with a unique solution is found. Once a puzzle is generated, we have a complex mathematical function which rates the difficulty of that puzzle. This function uses various variables such as number of candidate choices and number of clues in the puzzle, number of deductive steps used in the solving process, number of conflicts found violating Sisus rules in the search space, as well as various ratios of square and pair clues or plus and times clues to determine the difficulty rating and the class of that puzzle.
let me tell you about the other challenges that you might come across. Some everyday challenges that you will come across is that you're bound to get people who are negative around you or think that during difficult time, this is not going anywhere or anything. You're bound to get that. So don't let it affect you. Just find a solution and move on. Listen to them. I'm not saying do not listen to other people. It's always important to listen to other people. But look at it. Are they talking about insecurity? That talk is coming from insecurity or not knowing where you're going, etc. And do they see your vision? That's very important too. The other thing is that at some point you recognize that there are many skills that required for developing the project, and you don't have those skills. You don't know the legal issues. You don't know perhaps the back-end server, how to design, etc. So you need to go and get consultants or experts to help you. And that is, you need to be open to that, but always know that there are some risks involved as well when you bring some experts in. But having said that, more or less try to learn anything and be ready to do any job at a minimal level at least. On the technical challenges, by all means, you always need to put the customers first and bear in mind the security and of their customers and integrity, etc. Also, one of the other issues that major will come out is the scaling issue when the number of users increases. So there are a lot of issues there to address and be flexible, but the most important is to consider it right from the beginning. We are looking forward to set up international and national competitions between universities. We are looking at sponsors and to basically give very interesting prizes to you guys. So it would be easier for us to get sponsors if we feel that more students are interested in this. For your information, SISUS puzzles are in your student newspapers magazine, Felix, on a weekly basis. Well, I do hope you are enjoying them if you haven't seen, if you are playing them. If you haven't, I do recommend please go and have a look, and we look forward to hearing any comments you may have. And finally, I like to say that there is this competition, mini competition we have today for you, and I suggest you scan this QR and find the app. But please look at the rules before you play the competition. The name of the competition is ACI Mini Competition 2020. And make sure you have played Hero, Class Hero, before starting playing this competition. We will introduce the winners tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thank you.